Here's your wrestling news for August 20th, 2022, and we're kicking off today with SmackDown, as this week's episode marked the 1,200th episode of the Blue Brand. Not only was this a historic night for SmackDown, but it happened in Montreal, Quebec, Canada, so it was fitting that Sami Zayn was the star of the show. Zayn's presence, conversation with Roman Reigns, and Intercontinental title pursuits were the highlights of the show, and it definitely feels like a change is coming for the Canadian. Sami had an interesting interaction with the tribal chief, who teased him with joining the bloodline by saying that the Intercontinental title would look good in the faction. What was more notable, however, is that Reigns also made reference to Kevin Owens' comments on Raw, saying he doesn't owe anybody anything. The story seems to be heading toward a Sami Zayn face turn and reunion with Kevin Owens, and it looks likely that after over a year, they will be the ones to dethrone the USOS. SmackDown 1200 also marked the arguable best of Ronda Rousey we've seen this year, who has really come into her own as a heel after a somewhat lackluster return. As a dominant UFC fighter who believes she is the best, it makes sense for Rousey to be a heel, and it's great that the crowd are eating it all up. On SmackDown, Rousey was arrested by security on the request of Adam Pearce, despite having already paid her fine for attacking a referee at SummerSlam. Clearly not learning her lesson, Rousey held her own against security, though we doubt attacking an official will convince Adam Pearce that she can be trusted not to attack officials. With that said, this new and vicious Ronda Rousey is more than likely to squash Liv Morgan to reclaim the SmackDown Women's title in her next opportunity. Morgan is scheduled to defend her title against Shayna Baszler at Clash at the Castle, and while she's expected to win and Rousey is still suspended, it appears to be just a matter of time before the baddest woman on the planet holds gold once again. A lot went down during this week's edition of SmackDown, but two big names were notable by their absence. When Roman Reigns appeared for his promo with Drew McIntyre, the Usos were nowhere to be seen, and despite some fans believing they were about to see an ambush, the tag champions didn't appear at all on the show. Instead, it was said that trouble at the border had kept the Usos from the show, and that may be what actually happened. While not confirmed, many believe that Jimmy Uso's pending DUI case caused him to not be able to gain access to the Great White North, and WWE opted not to just have Jay appear without his brother. When Jimmy was arrested in July 2021, many thought that would mark the end of his WWE career, and while that wasn't the case, his legal issues have proven to be a problem for the company's plans. Hopefully, the pair will be able to make it to Clash at the Castle in just 2 weeks' time, as Roman Reigns may need all the backup he can get when he takes on a very game Drew McIntyre. In recent weeks, WWE has been bringing back a ton of talent, with several alumni from NXT returning to the company. Dakota Kai, Karrion Kross, Scarlett, Hit Row, and Dexter Lumis have all returned to WWE, and the company may have teased who's next. On last night's SmackDown, a pre-taped vignette for the Viking Raiders aired, and in one shot, a Viking with hair and a physique very similar to Sarah Logan could be seen. Logan was released by WWE in April 2020 in the first of many mass waves of releases explained as budget cuts, and fans may know, is married to Viking Raider Eric in real life. After making a one-night return at this year's Royal Rumble, it looks like Logan could be back with WWE for good very soon, as Triple H continues to undo some of the decisions his father-in-law made. Speaking of returns, Karrion Kross has certainly made an impact since coming back to WWE and appears destined to one day compete for the undisputed WWE Universal Championship. Between his November 2021 release and being rehired, Kross competed in various promotions, including MLW and CYN, but nearly decided on a much different career. On a recent appearance of After the Bell, Kross spoke about his hiatus from WWE and how he was close to signing a deal with the Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship. Dan Gracie is one of our head instructors for Jiu-Jitsu. He was encouraging me to relocate to Philadelphia to fight in the UFC. Then on top of that, while I was going in, I was speaking with David Feldman from Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship, and I was on the verge of taking a 3-fight deal. Of course, Kross didn't step foot in the octagon and chose to return to WWE alongside his wife Scarlett, but we can't help but wonder what he would have accomplished in the world of MMA. On this week's AEW Dynamite, CM Punk reportedly went into business for himself with some scathing comments about Hangman Adam Page. Fully aware that Page wasn't scheduled to appear on the show, Punk challenged the Hangman to an AEW World title match and branded him a coward for not accepting the offer. Punk's actions have certainly raised questions about the veteran wrestler, and one interesting name in particular has chimed in. When Louis Dangoor tweeted about Punk, questioning that maybe the hero of many fans isn't a hero, UFC's Mike Jackson replied, saying that if anyone needs him, he's available. Jackson was of course referring to his fight with Punk in UFC, which the fighter handily won, and included a photo of him wailing on the reigning AEW World Champion. CM Punk may be able to hold his own against AEW wrestlers, but he was no match to Mike Jackson in 2018, and Mike isn't afraid of a rematch if Punk wants one. At a time, the majority of WWE's revenue came from ticket sales at live events, TV, and special shows, but those days are a thing of the past. Nowadays, WWE's main source of income comes from their lucrative TV rights deals with the likes of the USA Network and Fox, and higher-ups within the Stephanie McMahon-Nick Khan company are pretty excited right now. This week, the Big Ten College Football Conference recently landed themselves an $8 billion TV deal with Fox, CBS, and NBC, all being part of the agreement. PW Insider reports that several high-level executives are excited as they believe this is a sign that they'll soon be receiving a huge offer of their own, one bigger than the current high-dollar contracts they have already. Some higher-ups have even said that this new deal is a sign that Nick Khan is right when he claims that an increasing demand for live programming is something WWE can take advantage of to land a high-profile deal. It's been rumored that WWE could be looking to land a streaming deal with the likes of Netflix or Amazon Prime Video, and whatever the future holds, the high-level executives behind the scenes are seeing a lot of money in the company's future. And we're ending today with Trish Stratus, who is arguably WWE's most iconic female superstar of all time, and who is returning to TV. Next week's Raw is returning to Toronto, and during last night's SmackDown, it was confirmed that Stratus will make an appearance on the Red brand. Monday's Raw is one of several dates Stratus is working for WWE during its swing through Canada's eastern provinces, as she'll appear at WWE live events in Ontario both tonight and tomorrow. Despite it being over 3 years since her retirement match, which also happened in Toronto, Trish remains in incredible shape, so don't be surprised if the Hall of Famer gets physical this coming Monday. Booker T was back behind the WWE Raw commentary table this past Monday in Houston, and the two-time WWE Hall of Famer got more than just the ringside experience. In 2018, matters between Booker and Corey Graves seemed to have gotten heated after Booker was removed from his broadcast position at Raw. Booker mentioned that Graves had something to do with it, and Graves seemingly backed that up. Booker said he would be happy to fight Graves if he ever found him on the street. "You see that little bouffant hairdo he got? I'm gonna rearrange it for him, alright? I'm just saying, let me catch him at Starbucks. I'ma tattoo him," Booker said on his 2018 Heated Conversations podcast. Graves and Booker later revealed that the tension was all hyped up and the two were just having fun with an angle. However, Booker revealed that there was an apology amongst the fun this past Monday with Graves and the whole commentary trio. During this week's Hall of Fame podcast, Booker sat down with Brad Gilmore and said, "Corey Graves and I, we go way back, and when we met recently, he finally apologized for that little riff we had back in the day. I didn't have to run up on him at Starbucks or anything like that, so yeah man, as well as Jimmy Smith, cool hanging with Jimmy and Byron Saxton." We're glad that this situation ended up on the right note. Well guys, that's our news for today. Please share your comments below. Also hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and hit the bell icon to receive all notifications. And as always, thanks for watching.